joining us today for this rehearsal. And today my topic is Prefaces to Holy Revelations of the Analects. We know in our 新民 class, after 2022教改, in our 新民 class curriculum, we have 4 sessions dedicated to selective readings from the Analects. 论语选读有4堂课 In the first session, we studied 2 prefaces to the Holy Revelations of the Analects. So in this English Classics Camp, I chose to share this topic, 因为这样比较实用因为它就是新民班的论语选读4堂课当中的第1堂。And first, let's talk about what is Holy Revelations of the Analects. Holy Revelations of the Analects were conferred by 35 Buddhas, immortals, saints and sages under the divine command of God. It took over 8 years, from October 13, 2007 to October 17, 2015, to complete. And these revelations were transmitted through channeling holy mediums or saint writing. So this is how Buddha channeled the holy medium. And this is how Buddha conveyed holy revelations to us through saint writing. Of course, these photos are just to help us understand how Buddhas channeled the holy mediums. They were not taken when Buddhas convey holy revelations of the Analects. And the holy revelations were given in a total of 165 sessions held across 15 countries and regions. So we can see that after spending so much time traversing so many countries and regions and conveying holy revelations in so many Tao seminars, so 论语圣训 is truly a monumental masterpiece from heaven. And we all know that 圣训, holy revelations, have various forms. And one particular profound form is referred to as 妙训. I translate it as sublime holy revelation. And the holy revelations of the Analects belong to the category of 妙训. And a sublime holy revelation consists of 3 parts. The first part is 本训, original holy revelation. 本训 is the background article. And the second part is 妙训. After the Buddha has delivered the original holy revelation, they will select certain words from the original article and connect these chosen words. And these will then form a large pattern or some large size words, which represent the theme of the holy revelation. So 通常妙训就是这篇训文的 theme 的主轴So in 论语圣训, in holy revelations of the Analects, Buddhas and immortals use the words in the chapter of 学而 as the sublime holy revelation, which means the words in a large font, the large size words. And the third part of a 妙训 is the HR within HR, which means following the lines in drawing the large pattern or the strokes in writing the large size words. The words they pass through will create another article known as the HR within HR, 训中训, and which is the essence of the whole holy revelation. So the 整本的论语圣训 the whole 论语圣训 include original holy revelation 本训, sublime holy revelation 妙训, and HR within HR, 训中训, and even holy revelation in spoken form, even 白话训 and 正坛诗, 所以是一本很大的著作And this photo is a small part of the holy revelations of the Analects. So we can see the large size words are from the first chapter of the Analects, chapter of 学而. And the content of today's class is about the prefaces to the holy revelations of the Analects. 所以今天不是要研究论语圣训，而是要研究论语圣训的序So we will be covering 2 prefaces. The first preface is the holy revelation delivered by Confucius. And actually, the content of this topic, two prefaces, the content is too much to cover in just 1 hour. And if I put it in Chinese, it would take about 80 minutes. So like today or in the English classics camp, we will cover as much as we can. But however, I have translated all the original text into English, so which may serve as a reference for 各位前贤传题的时候可以用啊。Okay, so today's topic is the first prefaces is Holy Revelation from the Supreme Sage and Venerable Teacher Confucius, which is the first preface to Holy Revelations of the Analects. It was conveyed on July 24th in 2010 in a Dao seminar at Puli Tianyuan Foyuan. And in today's presentation, the text related to our study of the Holy Revelations will be showcased within text boxes. 所以今天要讲的那个序都会用这样子的文字方块And these text boxes are marked with red line edges, 有红边and a light yellow background 里面是淡黄色的底And text boxes on other slides without the red edges and the light yellow background are supplementary materials and are not part of the Holy Revelations currently under discussion. Okay, let's get started. Confucius said, throughout my life, I have embraced benevolence as my central philosophy. And the first verse actually touched me so very much. Throughout Confucius' life, he said that he embraced benevolence as his central philosophy. We know in 四书讲到仁者爱人a kind person cares for others. A benevolent person harbors love for others. So from this point, we may reflect on our own core values, our central philosophy. As an ordinary human being, maybe in our worldly pursuits, we may pursue after our personal safety, our personal health, our personal money, personal happiness, even fame, power, or a luxurious lifestyle. Many individuals fail to recognize the profound value of compassion. But Confucius teaches us that he had embraced benevolence as his central philosophy. So in recent Hualien earthquake and landslide, we witnessed a gentleman from Greece who already run away from the landslides and already safe from the disaster area. However, he came back. He returned and saved some 11 people or what. And then people say, you are a hero. He said, I'm no hero. I am just fulfilling my goal as a Boy Scout in my childhood, because as a Boy Scout, our goal is to help others. So I believe that all of us, we have come so far in our Tao cultivation journey. I believe that all of us is our initial aspiration, our original intention, which is 孰是为怀, just like Confucius. So never forget our original intention and always embrace it. 仁者爱人 is our central philosophy. If we embrace this as our central philosophy, maybe all of us, we are growing older and older. When we are growing older and older, and we become weaker and weaker. And sometimes we may think that I'm so old, I'm too old to do that, I'm too old to do this, to do that, and I'll let the younger generation to do it. But if we embrace benevolence as our central philosophy, we will reflect upon us and think about it. How much have I left? How much energy I have left? How much can I devote? How much can I dedicate to this goal, to my initial intention, 出发心? So 其实第一句话就很感动啊，一生以人为中心思想啊。And Confucius continued to say that he had shouldered the responsibility to rectify disorder. Confucius mentioned rectify disorder, which disorder refers to people behaving in a disorderly manner due to the pursuit of desires, neglecting ethical values, and treating desire satisfaction as life's primary goal. So these people prioritize the fulfillment of personal desires and wants above everything else. For instance, if one prioritizes making money without following ethical principles, then it can lead to greed and even doing something to harm others for personal profit. And such greedy people, when unable to obtain what they desire, they become angry and spending their days pursuing their insatiable desires is simply ignorant. 所以到这里呢，贪嗔痴都有了，the three poisons 具足了啊。So it is people living their lives with the attitude of greed, anger, and ignorance that lead to the numerous social disorders and the emergence of many crimes in human society. 所以为什么这么多人做诈骗的啊，就知道了。And Confucius aimed to address and correct the disorder by highlighting the importance of ethical principles. He believes that living a meaningful life and creating a harmonious, virtuous society depends on it. So here Confucius said that he envisioned a world of great harmony. The world of great harmony is an ideal that Confucius has not yet fulfilled. It was the idea of Confucius that is an as yet unfulfilled ideal for Confucius. And a world of great harmony is documented in ancient texts, and some description of the great harmony world in these ancient writings I abbreviated as follows. In a world of great harmony, everyone is aligned with Tao. Each person has restored their true nature. If belongings happen to fall to the ground, there is no need to worry about others will pick them up or taking them away. In such a harmonious environment, possessions left on the ground won't be taken, let alone any concern about theft or robbery or any crime. And besides, people will not exclusively favor their loved ones, not exclusively cherishing their own children. 人不独亲其亲，不独子其子. It means that people not only show affection to their own family, but also extend kindness to the families of others. It's an extension of love, where care is not limited to one's own children, but encompasses the well-being of others' children as well. And Confucius continued to expound, thus, to rectify the disorder, Confucius said, thus, I edited the Book of Odes and the Book of History. Confucius carefully selected the essence of the Book of Odes, 诗经, and the Book of History, 书经, refining and preserving only the most valuable passages that can inspire and enlighten the human heart. And he also established rituals and music. Confucius believed that propriety could regulate the order of human life, while music could beautify the human heart. And that's why he established rituals and music. And he composed the Spring and Autumn Annals, all with the intention of rectifying the deteriorating state of the world. What is the Spring and Autumn Annals? 春秋. Confucius wrote this book. Confucius commented in the Spring and Autumn Annals. Confucius commented on the history of the state of Lu over the 242 years and discerning who were benevolent rulers or tyrants, identifying those as disloyal ministers or loyal ministers, and distinguishing between deceitful and honest officials. The master used the reflection on ancient figures as a lesson for the present， 就是以古奉今呢。他不会直接说谁怎么样，谁怎么样，他就讲古时候的人怎么样，然后让大家对号入座啊。So urging the contemporary individuals in positions of power to be vigilant and self-reflective in light of historical examples. 孔老夫子作春秋啊，乱臣贼子惧啊。So he wouldn't directly accuse contemporary officials of specific wrongdoings. Confucius used examples from ancient times, and these examples illustrated who was virtuous, who was not, who should act in a certain way and who shouldn't. And this made the officials feel as though he was speaking about them and prompting them to reconsider any questionable or possibly wrong actions. Confucius' subtle and wise approach not only discouraged wrongdoing, but also prevented any embarrassment to the individuals involved. And Confucius continued to expound. However, born in a turbulent era of the spring and autumn periods, where proprieties crumbled. Proprieties crumbled means people no longer follow etiquette. The expected courtesies between individuals have been lost, leading to a disordered human society. And this situation happened not only in Confucius' times, but actually much more severe in present day, right? So 人与人之间已经失去应该有的礼节了。And music deteriorated. Music deteriorated means that people enjoy listening to some sentimental or not so high quality music, 靡靡之音, rather than listening to music that brings a calm and balanced mood. And people had forsaken the original virtues of honesty and simplicity, leading to a loss of morality. As a result, rulers failed to be good rulers, subjects neglected their duties, fathers abandoned their roles, sons disregarded their responsibilities, and all strayed away from the righteous path. And forgetful of proper conduct, they indulged in the pursuit of desires and were consumed by greed for profits. In other words, the entire human society is caught up in a flood of desires. 整个社会都被欲望淹没了。好。So in this corrupted atmosphere, the virtue of filial piety, fraternal respect, benevolence, loyalty, and righteousness were forsaken as people pursued superficial gratification while neglecting the core values of humanity. Truly, it is a cause for lamentation. So Confucius felt so sad. And again, he said, my entire life. In the first paragraph, he said, my entire life has embraced benevolence as my central philosophy. And in this paragraph, he said, my entire life, again, had indeed been dedicated to openly sharing knowledge through poetry and literature while silently transmitting Tao. Confucius was a patriarch in the Tao lineage, just like our holy teachers. However, in ancient times, Tao was transmitted on a one-to-one basis, meaning from one patriarch to the next. And that's why Confucius mentioned that he silently transmitted Tao. Nevertheless, he openly and tirelessly advised and taught people everywhere through sharing poetry and literature. He said, "My intention was to guide people's hearts towards goodness, to rectify societal customs, and to exert effort in curbing turbulence." Curbing turbulence, 力挽狂澜, means to bring stability, order, or calmness in a situation or society that may be experiencing turmoil or unrest. And this phrase implies that despite the tumultuous situation and daunting challenges, Confucius dedicated all his efforts to rescue and reverse the circumstances, because the spring and autumn period was undeniably a chaotic era. And he said, even in the face of the hardships of deprivation and the humiliation of unearthing footprints and felling sandalwood trees. 哇，这个很饶舌啊，这是两个典故啊。And he said, "My original aspiration remains unchanged." So now I would like to share with you two historical stories. The first story is the hardships of deprivation in Cheng and Cai. Cheng and Cai were two small states during the spring and autumn period, and the story goes like this. Confucius was born in ancient China during the turbulent period over 2,500 years ago, in the spring and autumn era. At the age of 55, seeking to influence societal values, he embarked on a journey to various states, 周游列国, meeting officials and rulers, hoping that his principles of governance and his moral ideals would be embraced, can be accepted. By the age of 63, he reached the region between the states of Cheng and the state of Cheng and the state of Cai. Previously, he had resided in Caiguo for 3 years and offered numerous suggestions to the ruler, but none were accepted due to opposition from the influential ministers, because those officials had their selfish motive, selfish intentions. It's against their selfish profit, so they refuse. So this disappointment sadly continued when he visited Chengguo 也是一样啊。So both Cheng and Cai were subordinate states under the control and protection of a neighboring powerful state, Chu. At this time, Chuguo became aware of Confucius's presence nearby, and as a result, Chuguo sent messengers to invite Confucius to visit Chu. So this is the map of the spring and autumn period. Here we have Chengguo, and here is Caiguo. They are neighboring states. Now notice the powerful big state, Chuguo, and both Chengguo and Caiguo were smaller states under the protection and control of the mighty state. So Chuguo was really a great power. And then Chuguo wanted to invite Confucius for a visit, and this worried Chengguo and Caiguo's officials. So worried about how they had ignored Confucius's advice before, the officials of Cheng and Cai, being Cheng and Cai was Chuguo's subordinate states, these officials were afraid that if Confucius visited Chu, it might expose their self-centered actions, causing potential trouble for them. So as a result, they imposed a form of soft confinement on Confucius. 真的是很厉害哦，想到一个软禁的方式哦， trapping him and his disciples in a house on the outskirts, restricting their freedom. And it was winter. And after enduring 7 days with their food supplies depleted, some disciples fell seriously ill. Despite the challenges, Confucius remained calm and composed, unaffected by external circumstances. He played music. He sang every day without interruption. And why could Confucius remain so calm in such challenging circumstances? It was because his joy or sorrow didn't depend on favorable or unfavorable external conditions. 他的快乐或悲伤不是来自顺境或逆境。He had transcended the material world. He had communicated exclusively with heaven, 独与天通啊。And regardless of whether the external environment was tranquil or turbulent, he remained unaffected. And this is the beauty of cultivating Tao. And another story was 消极发谈, unearthing footprints and felling sandalwood trees. It was when Confucius and his disciples arrived in the state of Song and gathered under a large sandalwood tree to practice rituals. Huan Tui was the marshal of Songguo, harbored strong resentment towards Confucius and even sent killers to pursue and kill him. Unfortunately, news of this assassination scheme leaked in advance, allowing Confucius and the disciples to calmly escape ahead of time. And the disciples urged to hasten their pace, but Confucius said, "Heaven has bestowed virtue upon me. What can Huan Tui do to me?" In other words, Confucius expressed his faith that life and death are determined by heaven. 生死由天呢. And since he possesses the inherent virtue granted by heaven, there is little to fear from Huan Tui. So he had strong confidence in Tao and in heavenly decree. And the implied meaning of Confucius's words is that being the inheritor of the heavenly decree, he is protected until the time of succession arrives, which means until he has found his successor and passed on the torch of heavenly decree to him. So with this assurance, they safely left the area, and driven by frustration, Marshal Huan Tui, very, very angry, cut down the sandalwood tree and not only wiped away the footprints left by Confucius and his disciples, but went as far as digging up the soil where they walked to humiliate Confucius. So from this incident, we can learn that even a great sage like Confucius, he still needed to endure such great insults. So if we, as a small cultivator, if we experience some troubles or insults, it's a common part of life. So this incident is the origin of the idiom 消极发谈. And Confucius continued to expound, in the current era of the last salvation, it is also a time of chaos. All of you good cultivators are so fortunate to participate in this grand occasion. So we are fortunate to be born in this grand era and to have the opportunity to receive the great Tao. Confucius said, "You are privileged to receive the authentic transmission of the great Tao. Indeed, it is a profound blessing for each of you, and it is essential for you to cultivate Tao with a focused and unwavering mind." So the Tao we have received is true. We need to truly cultivate and genuinely propagate Tao to genuinely attain enlightenment. And Confucius said, adhering to the central path, which means the first treasure, just as Yan Hui attained oneness, he wholeheartedly embraced it and never lost it. The first treasure we have received is exactly the same as the first treasure Yan had received. Confucius encourages us to emulate Yan single-mindedness and diligence, Yan focused dedication. So who was Yan Hui? Yan Hui was a disciple who received the baton of the heavenly decree. Yan Hui is also known by his courtesy name Zhiyuan. So sometimes we say Yan Yuan. Yan Yuan is a combination of his surname and the courtesy name. And he is also respectfully addressed as a Master Yan or Yanzi by later generations. And he was honored as Fu Shen in Chinese history. Fu means to restore, to recover. So Fu Shen means this sage has restored his true nature. So Yan Hui was Confucius' most cherished and valued disciples because of his diligent cultivation and excellent spiritual level. Yan Hui was renowned for his diligence and focus on Dao cultivation. And Confucius hoped that we would emulate Yan Hui. So from this, it is obvious that Confucius valued us, all the disciples of Jigong Living Buddha and Yue Hui Bodhisattva, all of us. Confucius highly valued us because the Tao we have received is exactly the same as the Tao Yan Hui had received. Confucius continued to expound. Considering the current era, there is a strong emphasis on efficiency in all matters. The culture of fast food has become prevalent, and many people tend to view classical literature and books from ancient times as outdated and not in line with the current trend. And little do they know that classical literature and ancient texts contain enduring wisdom and philosophical insights, remaining unspoiled through the ages, undamaged by the passage of time. And delving deep into the essence with language that is concise yet rich in meaning, 言简意赅啊, the classics embody enduring truths that are indestructible, and these truths can never be clarified. 白话文无法表达, that can never be clarified through contemporary common language used in the present time. So Confucius explained the invaluable and extraordinary qualities of classical and ancient texts for us. So maybe we can quote this passage to emphasize the importance of the event 英语经典营. Okay, and Confucius said the Analects consists of 20 chapters. Today, in accordance with the current trend, well, 素食文化, fast food trend, we means Buddhas and immortals, saints and sages, 诸佛菩萨啊，不得已啊，我配合这个素食文化，所以呢，Buddhas and immortals, saints and sages have selectively extracted the essence of chapter 学而，所以只有选择学而篇 alone to convey profound insights, hoping that within a sentence, a phrase, or even a single word from the Holy Revelations, everyone can find guidance for navigating life's journey or embarking on a path of self-cultivation. Confucius means that within the Holy Revelations of the Analects, though the content is vast, 整部《论语圣训》很大部 if we find any particular sentence, phrase, or even a single word that resonates with us, 我们只要找到一字一句跟我们的内心产生共鸣的话, we can deeply contemplate it and use it as a guiding principle for navigating life or spiritual cultivation. Confucius said, through gradual practice and cultivation, one can ultimately attain the realm of saints and sages. If you can achieve this, I would also feel deeply gratified. Confucius would also be very happy for us. And at this completion of the holy revelations of the Analects, I especially write this preface. May all of you, noble cultivators, consider benevolence your duty. 所以这个跟第一句话互相呼应啊。第一句话讲说吾子一生以人为中心思想，到最后的时候呢，就把这一个理想寄望于老师师母的徒儿，就是我们大家啊。Consider benevolence your duty. Embrace loyalty and forgiveness. So we embrace benevolence as our duty, and while we practice, we embrace loyalty. Be loyal to heaven, to our conscience, and be forgiving to others, and establish yourself to uplift others. Let us can stand on the path of Tao and walk the path of Tao and also help others do so, and attain greatness and attain the inherent greatness, and also help others achieve the same. And Confucius encouraged us to always grasp and embody the benevolent and earnest intentions of Qigong Living Buddha and practicing Tao in the mortal world to aid and uplift all humanity. That the world of great harmony reappear, echoing the times of Yao and Sun. 因为有时候都有外国人讲这些都要介绍Yao and Sun were legendary ancient sage emperors over 4,000 years ago. They presided over an era when the entire realm resembled a world of great harmony. That's why Confucius said, let the world of great harmony reappear, echoing the times of Yao and Sun. And this is the aspiration of Qigong Living Buddha, and also my sincere expectation. So remember that Confucius' unfulfilled ideal, a world of great harmony, is waiting for us to fulfill it. Why? Because Confucius was living in Red Yang era, and now it's White Yang era. 时间已经走到白羊了。Because the time has come. Heavenly Matter has allowed the universal propagation of Tao. That's why Confucius said, also my sincere expectation. The 6th lunar month, 2010, Kong Chiu at the Tianyuan Temple. Kong is the transliteration of Confucius' family name, and Chiu is the transliteration of Confucius' given name. The second preface is a holy revelation from holy teacher Qigong Living Buddha. The second preface to holy revelations of the Analects were conveyed on 21st of August 2010 at a Tao seminar at Conghui Temple, Xianzhu Conghui Temple. Okay. Holy teacher said, for a person to attain oneness is greatness. Now we need to look at the Chinese character. The Chinese character Ren, with the addition of a horizontal stroke, transforms into the large character Ba. So traditionally, we believe that Chinese characters were created by ancient sages, and their character creation followed certain principles aligned with Tao. 所以圣人造字所遵循的法则都是合道的所以 this Ba means for an ordinary person, if they can comprehend the unique truth, the oneness within themselves, they will discover their own inherent greatness. Okay, and Holy Teacher continued to explain the importance of one using objects. In objects, being the only one is valuable. So why is a famous painting valuable? because there is only one authentic piece of this painting in the entire world. 最近到场，大家常常听到一首歌哦，就是先佛的批训哦。那讲到蒙娜丽莎哦，所以我们常常看到蒙娜丽莎的画像啊。这个 the original Mona Lisa painting 啊，display 这个罗浮宫啊，is valued at 870 million US dollars， 8.7亿美金呢啊。Why? Because there's only one. So in objects, being the only one is valuable. And thirdly, when handling matters with single-minded dedication, excellence is achieved. So Holy Teacher continue to explain the importance of oneness, use the one related to our achievement, use our achievement to emphasize the importance of single-mindedness. If we want to achieve something, even the worldly affair achievements, still we need to be focused. Not to mention if we want to have achievement in the saintly endeavor, how can we 分心忽做忽错呢? So single-minded dedication is very, very important. And as individuals, adhering to the principles of the 5 relationships and the 8 virtues establishes character. And this will surely clear the thorny path and open the way to a happy and fulfilling life. So a happy and fulfilling life, I believe, is what everybody wishes to have. So we need to understand, of course, all of us understand 什么是五伦八德, but still let's go through this. What are the 5 relationships and the 8 virtues? 五伦啊. First, ruler and subject, which means like boss and employees, the leader and the people they lead, okay? And 2, father and son, the relationship between father and son, between husband and wife, between elder and younger sibling, between friends. And the 8 virtues, filial piety, fraternal respect, loyalty, trustworthiness, propriety, righteousness, integrity, a sense of shame. And the happiness in life is not built upon material indulgence or the satisfaction of desires, but rather on the ability to cultivate positive human relationship based on the fundamental moral principles of the 5 relationships and the 8 virtues. And upholding these essential moral values is the foundation of the basic happiness in life. Consider this. Nowadays, many people, they just think about money, and money. But consider this very simple example. There are a husband and a wife. They are very rich. But they always argue and fight with each other. Can they be happy? Will they be happy? Of course not. Of course not. So, to build happy relationship between our loved ones, we need to cultivate virtues. It is, as people said that 越亲近的人哦，你就越忽略德性。So, Holy Teacher is talking about the importance of one. But what is the connection between one and the 5 relationships and the 8 virtues? 现在老师是在强调一哈，但是讲到五伦八德，五伦八德是5加8等于13呢，那这当中有什么关系呢？ So, one refers to our true nature. If we can restore our true nature, our actions will naturally be aligned with the moral principles, because these 五伦八德, these principles are our inherent virtues waiting for us to restore, to explore, to rediscover. Okay, and Holy Teacher continued to expound on the realm of collecting. Only experts possess exclusive collections. each transforming into a rare and precious treasure. So Holy Teacher used objects to further explain the importance of one. And thirdly, Holy Teacher elaborated the importance of one related to our achievement by maintaining single-mindedness, single-minded dedication from start to finish in your endeavors. You can cultivate profound expertise and achieve success. And Holy Teacher 讲这么多之后呢 want us to know, since we have received such great Tao, what are we doing every day? So Holy Teacher said, let me ask you, my disciples, what principles do you follow each day? Is it to adhere to the 4 teachings for self-establishment, or to follow power, wealth, and privilege for personal gain? So the term 4 teachings comes from the Analects. Confucius teaches students from 4 aspects. 直以四教, 文性, 忠信. The master gave us 4 teachings. Number 1, philosophy, 文. That means Confucius shared many teachings with his students, like through poetry, through literature. Okay. And number 2, practice. And then Confucius encouraged the disciples to apply these teachings in their everyday lives. And thirdly, loyalty. Be true to our core values and our original intentions. Never compromise our unwavering integrity despite external temptations or challenges. Okay, and trustworthiness means be reliable, be trustworthy, and be accountable. Okay, and Holy Teacher asks us these questions very seriously. Holy Teacher said, is it to adhere to 4 teachings for self-establishment, or to follow power, wealth, and privilege for personal gain? Is it to propagate morality, benevolence, and righteousness, or to follow killing, stealing, indulgence, lying, and intoxication to harm and jeopardize lives? Here, Holy Teacher cited many examples of Confucius' disciples to inspire us. In the past, Minzi inquired about filial piety, Zixia about sense of shame, Ziyu about integrity, Zilu about righteousness, Zigong about loyalty, Minzi Qian about trustworthiness, Meng Jingzi about trustworthiness, and Yanhui about propriety. So here, 寻, to inquire. To inquire means to delve into profound meanings and examine oneself. So Confucius wants us to emulate the disciples of Confucius and to delve into the profound meaning of their virtue, their practice, to examine ourselves. So on this slide, although there are many good role models worth learning from, due to time constraints today, we can't explain each one. So among the numerous examples, I'll just pick one and only to share with you all. Minzi Qian, from 536 BC to 487 BC, with the given name Sun, and the courtesy name Zhiqian, was a native of the state of Wu. During the late spring and autumn era, the title Zi is a respectful address for Minzi Qian by later generations. So 老师称呼闵子骞闵子闵子这是后代人对他的称呼，因为他的德性真的是让后人印象深刻So among Confucius's disciples, he was one of the 10 philosophers of the Confucian school, highly regarded for his moral character and cultivation. Like Yanhui, his virtues are still remembered and appreciated today. So we share one story. I believe all of you know this very well. Filial 名子谦. Ziqian at a young age lost his stepmother, favoring her own biological sons, mistreated 名子谦. Despite the abuse, Ziqian chose not to inform his father and wanting to avoid straining in the relationship between his parents. And one winter, the stepmother pretended to make a cotton-padded jacket for Ziqian, but actually filled it with flowers of reed instead. Please note that cotton is very warm, while the flowers of reeds are not warm at all. So one day, while Ziqian was driving his father in a carriage, feeling cold and hungry, he couldn't control the carriage, which slid into a roadside ditch. The father, infuriated, scolded and whipped Ziqian, tearing his clothes and revealing the reeds. So the force of the death beating tore Ziqian's clothes and revealing the inner lining made of the flowers of reeds. And when the father learned that the truth, he was furious and considered divorcing his wife. And Ziqian knelt down before his father and pleading for leniency for his stepmother. He said, "When mom stayed, I bore the cold alone. If she lives, my two younger brothers will share the loneliness with me." So touched by his son's plea, the father chose not to divorce his wife, and the stepmother, remorseful, also underwent a profound change. So Ziqian at that time was such a young child and facing severe bullying, yet harboring no hatred at all. What a beautiful spirit. He not only touched his father, influenced his stepmother, and protected his two younger brothers, but also left a lasting impact on many people in later generations. Of course, I have been very, very touched by 闵子骞。虽然这故事大家都知道，但是每次听都觉得很感动哦。His virtue are truly remarkable. I think my time is up, so I better just stop here. So because I have translated all the texts into English, so I think it can serve as a reference for all the 各位前贤的传体用。If I have made any mistakes, I beg forgiveness from God and Buddhas, and I hope masters, brothers and sisters can give me comments. Thank you. Thank you all very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Susannah. Please give Susannah a big hand. 谢谢 Susannah 的分享。那请问